Kristi Noem has a secret boyfriend, and unfortunately, it's a name that you're probably sick of hearing. Corey Lewandowski, the man who was kicked off of Trump's first campaign for being a bit too handsy, which is a bit like getting kicked off a firing squad for being too trigger happy.
Look at that.
Steady as a rock.
Yeah, but I shoot with this hand.
Corey has managed to keep his career alive by sneaking in as a special government employee like Elon Musk was, but it turns out that he might have been fudging his hours in order to spend more time with his puppy-killing partner. Go ahead and subscribe to Really American, and let's just jump right into this wild story. So I had actually never heard of this alleged affair between Corey Lewandowski and Kristi Noem before, but I guess I was just late to the game because it turns out it wasn't even that hidden. According to this 2023 reporting, former Trump aide Corey Lewandowski and then governor of South Dakota Kristi Noem were having an absurdly blatant and public affair, getting handsy at the hotel bar. Married Republican South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem has engaged in a years-long affair with longtime Donald Trump advisor Corey Lewandowski. Though no images of the two getting frisky are known to exist, the pair have been less than discreet about their relationship, with one source recalling them making out at a hotel bar during a 2021 CPAC convention in Orlando. I remember it was so absurdly blatant and public, said the person who recalled Noem and Lewandowski getting handsy at the bar of the Hyatt Regency Orlando with between 100 and 200 others around. Like, they're not even hiding it. They're just going to town on each other right there in front of everyone. It isn't like we caught them at some dive bar miles away. It's a lobby bar where everyone is staying, and so there's a bajillion political operatives and journalists and electeds around. I remember I saw it with my own eyes and a couple of other people saw it, and the blatantness was absurd. Now, a quick reminder here. Both Lewandowski and Kristi Canine Killer Noem are married. They have full families with kids and everything, and yet here they are making out in a hotel bar back in 2023. And since then, it seems like Corey's special connection to Kristi has allowed him to gain a shocking amount of power at Homeland Security for a man who isn't technically employed there. Lewandowski has become a fixture at the Department of Homeland Security, serving as Noem's chief advisor. But on paper, he was originally tapped to serve as a special government employee, a unique role meant to span a limited number of days. He's not included on the department's leadership list, but in other DHS materials, he's being described as chief advisor to the secretary. A Homeland Security official, get this, because this is about a week ago, said that Lewandowski remains a special government employee, a status that typically lasts up to 130 days, and his time, quote, is kept by a career DHS employee who submits the paperwork on a bi-weekly basis. He isn't paid by DHS and doesn't receive government benefits. Now, this is before the most recent reporting that shows his timesheet was incorrect. So who is this career DHS employee, and why would they conveniently lie for Lewandowski? I'm sure somebody would do it. Corey is a fixer, floating around the Trump regime, a lobbyist, an advisor, sidekick, but never elected. He's the definition of the deep state, and he's become the de facto chief of staff at the DHS. And that's not me coming up with a conspiracy. That's what the source told CNN. He's the de facto chief of staff in the department. Everyone is terrified of him because he has almost singular authority to fire people. A source familiar with the dynamic told CNN. Homeland Security officials told CNN Lewandowski is viewed as Noem's gatekeeper. Asked about his role, the senior DHS official described him as an advisor. Either way, this is a very creepy and strange relationship. Essentially, behind the scenes, DHS is being run by Lewandowski, a man who's not even there in an official capacity. And he has traveled everywhere with Kristi Noem, attached at the hip to his plastic love. The longtime Donald Trump ally and early 2016 campaign manager is not officially on the DHS roster, but Trump officials and DHS staff have told reporters that he is performing the functions of Secretary Kristi Noem's chief of staff, while the actual chief of staff position has not been filled. He has accompanied Noem on trips to confer with foreign leaders in Israel, Chile, Argentina, Costa Rica, Colombia, El Salvador, and Mexico. Often, he's the only one by her side at meetings. According to CNN, he approved billions of dollars in FEMA grants to be funneled to Republican-led states, demanded that personnel take polygraphs after a leak to the press, ordered the firing of government workers, and asked that others be placed on leave for infractions such as using gender pronouns in an email. The man has just been let loose on the Department of Homeland Security, and because he's a special government employee, he answers to no one, basically. But it's Corey's undying devotion to his kissing buddy, Kristi Noem, that is becoming too much for even Trump, it seems, as his status as a temporary government employee should have run out by now. Elon Musk's ran out a couple of months ago, yet Corey is still here. Here's the scoop from Axios. White House suspicious of Lewandowski's temp work. Lewandowski doesn't want to clock out of his temporary government gig because he gets to hang out with his mistress all day. So administration officials believe he's avoiding clocking in. The department told Axios that he has worked only 69 days since he was hired shortly after Noem's Jan 25th confirmation. 4 administration sources tell Axios they believe that's a gross undercount and that he's exceeded his allowed time as a temporary employee. 2 sources with knowledge of Lewandowski's work said he was seen entering government buildings with other employees to avoid swiping his own badge. That way, he could work without clocking in. They said he doesn't always use his government email or phone number for official business, avoiding digital paper trails on government systems. Those observations were relayed to White House officials, one of whom told Axios, "We're hearing that Corey's doing everything, failing to swipe in, working from home, whatever, to undercount his days. It's fair to say his work is being watched now." Besides his proximity to power, Lewandowski's work at DHS has attracted media attention because of his close relationship with Noem. The two, married to others, have long denied rumors they're romantically involved. But concerns about their relationship led President Trump to nix the idea of allowing Noem to make Lewandowski her chief of staff and instead have him become an SGE, a special government employee, which is extra hilarious because that means Kristi Noem tried to officially make her side piece her sidekick, and Trump was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. So instead, they're just doing this special government employee thing and trying to stretch it out as far as possible. I mean, these two are in love, clearly. Everyone's scared shitless of Lewandowski, a former DHS official told Axios. The feeling is that if they go up against Corey, they're going to lose. And I have to say that they're right. Lewandowski himself says, "I've got friends across the government. So maybe Sean Duffy calls me and says, 'Corey, can you help me?' And some of the other cabinet members, whether it's Scott Bessent or others, say, 'Hey, Corey, would you help us?'" Lewandowski once bragged. So clearly, this guy's got his little fingers all the way across our government. He kind of reminds me of Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. It's clear from his actions that Lewandowski is suspiciously dedicated to the career of Kristi Noem. Some would say he's more dedicated to her than he is to his own career, as lying to the White House and trying to get around these work requirements doesn't exactly seem like a good idea if you're a MAGA operative. No word yet on if there's going to be any kind of actual punishment or removal for Lewandowski, but as of now, his ruse has been sniffed out. So who knows, maybe Trump will smile down on this little love affair. After all, he is fond of cheating. If you guys want to stay informed on what these heinous degenerates are up to in the halls of government, then subscribe to Really American. I'm Tony Hinderman, and I'll catch you next time.